headlines, police return rescued trafficked children to Bauchi. Maritime workers threaten nationwide strike. Federal government to extend suspension of degrees accreditation to Kenya, Uganda. On the foreign scene, that toll in deadliest Russian strike on Kyiv rises to 32. Hello and welcome to the Trust TV News Update at this hour. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Aisha Salihu. The Bauchi State Governor Bala Abdulkadir on Wednesday received 7 children who were kidnapped in the state and trafficked to Kano before being rescued by police operatives in Kano State. The governor announced a 1 million naira donation each to support the education of the children while urging their parents to shun any thought of revenge. The senior special assistant on new media to the governor, Lawal Muazu, disclosed this in a statement on Wednesday. The Kano State Police Command had arrested 9 suspects who allegedly specialized in interstate trafficking, abduction, as well as buying and selling of minors. The State Police Commissioner Hussaini Gumel explained that the suspects were apprehended after conducting several intelligence-led operations through which the long-time circle of interstate trafficking syndicates hibernating around Kano, Bauchi, Gombe, Lagos, Delta, Anambra and Imo states was identified and dismantled. According to Gumel, a total of 7 victims, who are mostly minors, were rescued from the clutches of the harrowing criminal activities. We move over now to Kano, where police operatives have arrested a fake medical doctor, Chidera Ugu, accused of killing a pregnant teenager by administering injections and drugs on her. A statement signed by the police spokesman SP Abdullahi Haruna Kiyawa said one Nura Balarabe informed the police that 19-year-old Ukasha Muhammad, a resident of Langel village of Tofa local government area, allegedly impregnated his sister Amina Bala, 19, and approached the fake doctor for help. The statement said Ugu, 24, and resident of Lambun Ranki in Tofa local government area, administered the injection with the intention of aborting the pregnancy, but resulted to the death of Amina. Kiyawa said the suspects were arrested and have confessed to the crimes. Investigation by the police revealed that the fake doctor has allegedly been administering injections on pregnant women with tragic consequences. In the meantime, the police had also arrested a notorious thug, Yusuf Haruna, accused of killing an imam in Jakara Quarters, Kano City. The suspect, 18-year-old Yusuf Haruna, otherwise known as Lagwat Sani, attacked and stabbed the imam Sani Muhammad Shoaibu with a knife at his back while performing ablution. In Katsina, the police have taken significant action against rising insecurity, making 1,627 arrests in connection with 938 reported cases from January to December 2023. The State Police Commissioner, Aliyu Abubakar, disclosed these figures during a comprehensive review of the State Command's activities. Trust TV's Abdullahi Yamadi reports.
Out of the arrested suspects, 855 have been charged to courts and are at various levels of prosecution in the state. Among them are 258 suspected armed robbers, 64 suspected kidnappers, 176 murder suspects, 369 suspected rapists and unnatural offenses. In the same vein, 67 human trafficking suspects, 17 suspected kidnappers were neutralized, and 12 AK-47 rifles recovered, with 1,900 rounds of live ammunition. The command had also successfully rescued 171 kidnapped victims during their under review. This is in addition to recovery of several domestic animals.
Despite the modest achievement, more work remains to be done. Starting from this moment, it is very imperative to warn unrepentant criminals to either surrender or risk arrest.
The police commissioner appreciates the state government and sister security agencies in Katsina for working assiduously in reducing rate of crime. The command is seeking for cooperation and synergy from residents to enable the police command and other security operatives defeat bandits and other elements in Katsina State. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Further on security matters, 8 persons were on Tuesday reportedly kidnapped by gunmen around the Port Harcourt International Airport roundabout, Omuagua in Rivers State. It was gathered that the criminals had blocked the left flank of the road from the airport, about a minute's drive from the airport roundabout. Reports say the victims were moving from the airport access to the Obiri-Ikwere area before they were attacked. One of the victims who escaped, Emmanuel Bira, said 3 people were whisked away from his car, adding that one of them was shot in the head before being taken away. Bira, who narrowly escaped the attack, said the incident happened near the airport junction, noting that occupants of over 10 vehicles were involved in the incident. Away from security matters, the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria has threatened to commence a nationwide strike on Tuesday, January 9, disrupting operations at seaports, jetties, and oil and gas installations throughout the country. In a statement issued on Wednesday, the union's head of media, John Ikemefuna, on behalf of the President General Adewale Adeyanju, said the imminent strike is as a result of international oil companies and stevedoring contractors' repeated failure to follow existing stevedoring legislation that protect the union's rights. According to the statement, the union gave the Nigerian Ports Authority 3 days' notice beginning Thursday before contemplating a strike as an unavoidable alternative. The union expressed its displeasure by highlighting IOC's continued non-compliance with existing stevedoring requirements since 2018. It emphasized IOC's continued failure to remit union check off dues despite multiple unsuccessful attempts to address these concerns with the NPA. The union, while urging IOCs to fully comply with stevedoring regulations in accordance with communiques signed by important parties in the sector, all chastised the NPA for allowing IOCs to operate freely, abdicating its regulatory responsibilities. Now, the Nigerian Army says it will probe the case of some candidates in its 82-86 regular recruits intake, claiming Lagos as their state of origin. The candidates from Kaduna State, who had claimed to be from Lagos and even presented certificates of indigenship of the southwest state, were arrested when they could not prove their claims. Following the arrest, the Army spokesman, Major General Onyema Nwachukwu, described the incident as a serious breach. Nwachukwu said the arrest of the fraudulent candidates was a result of the commitment of the NA to upholding a transparent and credible recruitment process in line with its core values of integrity and fairness. And now back to the New Year's celebration. A New Year's resolution is a tradition in which a person resolves to continue good practices, change an undesired trait or behavior, accomplish a personal goal, or otherwise improve their behavior at the beginning of a calendar year. With a few days into 2024, residents of Nigeria's capital city, Abuja, have been speaking on the significance of the resolutions at the onset of every year.
For many, New Year resolutions have been linked to improved behavior and accomplishment of certain tasks, as well as positive disposition to certain issues. This is because these serve as reminders of the pledge or promise one made at the beginning of the year. However, resolutions to many others have become a cliche, as some who come up with them sooner or later resort to their old selves that they tried to change from. This scenario has made many to question whether or not it is important to make New Year resolutions, or what impact do these resolutions have on people who make them.
For this year, I just want to finish school before school finish me. It keeps you in check. Yeah, so whenever you're trying to misbehave or lose guard, understand there's something you always see what I want to achieve.
My New Year resolution basically is that all the stuff that I couldn't achieve throughout 2023, I want to project into this year. I want to achieve them and even more. So basically is that I want to expand my business, and secondly is that I want to strive for excellence. And I was able to achieve, there were 8 in numbers, I was able to achieve 5. So basically the remaining 3 revolve around family and all that, and I've not been able to achieve that, but I'm trusting God in the first quarter of this year I'll be able to do that. It helps you put yourself in check, so at least you fall back to check those things. Okay, this is what I set for so time. Have I been able to achieve those things within those jurisdiction of time?
It's a change in life. Maybe what we've been doing before, and now you find out that what you've been doing before is not right, and you want to go through the right ways. So you have to change.
Resolutions give directions and motivation to people who are excited to add new positive habits to their lives. These resolutions help one to move strongly to achieve certain goals in the year. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Thank you, Noel Samson, for that report. Now, following the suspension of accreditation and evaluation of degree certificates from Benin Republic and Togo, the federal government has said the sanction would be extended to more countries like Uganda, Kenya, and Niger Republic. Education Minister Tahir Maman disclosed this in an interview on Wednesday in Abuja. An undercover journalist had detailed how he acquired a degree from a university in Benin Republic under 2 months and was later deployed for the National Youth Service Corps. The federal government had immediately suspended accreditation of certificates from the 2 francophone West African nations and launched a probe, which the minister said should submit its report in 3 months. Maman also said students who patronize such institutions are not victims but criminals that should be arrested. He added that security agents will go after those with fake certificates from foreign countries, already using them to secure opportunities in Nigeria. This is a news update on Trust TV. Still ahead. Nigerians want more time for NIN SIM linkage as deadline approaches. Details of this story and more to come after the break. We'll be right back. Please don't go away.
South Africa, stand and make sure that our people understand.
And the story of the OAU can be told and retold. It cannot be denied that it made a contribution to the process of decolonization of the continent in many ways.
Ethiopia is where it is today in no small part because of the tireless efforts of the African Union and the wisdom of its deeply held belief in the principle of African solution to African problems.
The bulk of African countries were under colonial rule in 1945. So they did not take part in the negotiations that established the Bretton Woods institutions.
So Cameroonians are anxious, Cameroonians are impatient, Cameroonians are like, oh, many of the guys are not talking today. You can read it all over the social media.
Egypt has officially declined to accept fleeing Palestinians.
for fear that the more Palestinians you accept across the border into Egypt, the more trouble there may be for the country in the nearest and farthest future.
Are you interested in the latest news and developments in Nigerian politics, policy, governance, and other critical national issues? Look no further than Daily Politics on Trust TV. Our panel of experts and key people in government provide in-depth analysis and commentary on the biggest stories in Nigerian politics.
And 33.3 million Nigerians are suffering from multi-dimensional poverty.
It's a much calmer Buhari than the Buhari who was in the khaki uniform.
Naira to Naira X rate is higher anywhere in the world. The Naira is higher than dollar exchange rate. So you want to
choose central bank governor you're doing, you must do it fast.
Number of casualties we have had, we shouldn't have had. Security as far as Nigeria is concerned, we have wronged.
From the inner workings of government to the latest on legislation, rule of law, implementation, and democracy, we have you covered. Don't miss out on the latest political news and discussion. Tune in to Daily Politics, weekdays on Trust TV, your source for reliable and unbiased coverage of Nigerian politics.
Should I keep quiet? And then we kept saying, can't we teach these people basic business, not hustling? Teach our people entrepreneurship, not hustling. Go to China, Guangzhou, different districts. They can turn fair. Am I saying what you don't know?
So this about this thing.
Yeah, but this time around we are talking about appointment of ministers, where there is an express provision in the constitution as regards that.
Let's come to appointment. You know, it is the status of FCT that the constitution has made it too complicated for people to understand.
However, if you are to go backwards and do a kind of audit, you will be shocked to find that the resources so far expended on the SDGs far outstrips the achievements face to face.
Most of the time when you are involved, it's difficult for you to draw back and have a holistic view. Because what? Sentiment would always come to play, because all of us would definitely, like I told you yesterday, I was 100% convinced that you cannot say you are qualified without bringing any document.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. If you're just joining us, this is the Trust TV News Update. A quick recap of some of our top stories. Maritime police return rescued trafficked children to Bauchi. Maritime workers threaten nationwide strike. And now to more stories. The Kaduna State Pilgrims Welfare Board has extended the deadline for the payment of the Hajj 2024 fare to January 31, 2024. To this end, the board has called on intending pilgrims in the state to take advantage of the new registration deadline to make their 4.5 million naira deposit. The agency also said the move followed the decision of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria to extend the Hajj 2024 deposit date. The executive chairman of the agency, Salihu Abubakar, made this known in a statement by its spokesman, Yunusa Mohammed Abdullahi, in Kaduna on Wednesday. Salihu called on all intending pilgrims in the state to seize the opportunity and complete their Hajj deposit before the new deadline expires. He reminded intending pilgrims that registration can only be done through designated registration officers in all 23 local government areas of the state. The Nigerian Communications Commission had ordered telecom operators in the country to completely block SIM cards that have not been linked to the national identification number by February 28. Trust TV's Abdurrahman Umar reports that the mandatory NIN SIM linkage scheme that began in December 2020, as directed by the federal government, was one of the policies aimed at curtailing the incessant level of insecurity bedeviling the country.
Nigeria in recent years has seen an unprecedented rise in the level of insecurity across the nation, manifesting in kidnapping for ransom, banditry, as well as attacks on communities, leading to the death of citizens. As part of efforts to curtail these menace, the federal government during the last administration introduced the mandatory NIN SIM linkage scheme to help track down perpetrators of crimes.
Criminals used to use SIM in only one communication. Sometimes they can use 100 SIMs within 24 hours using one mobile phone. Now most of them exhausted the SIMs with them. If they continue to repeat and recycle the SIM, they can easily be intercepted.
Following repeated disregard and non-compliance to the directive, the Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC) has this time around ordered telecommunications operators within the country to ensure complete blockage of any unlinked SIM to NIN by February 28 operating in Nigeria.
You just have to be in tune with reality, and the reality now is that everybody must have a NIN. And everybody's identity that is on the NIN must be linked to your phone number and then be known. Otherwise, you will have no number to work with.
While the federal government continues to call on Nigerians to enroll to obtain their NIN, the procedure for many Nigerians has not been easy.
For Nigeria, it's necessary to pay that 15,000 because of two mistakes. Instead of 71, they put 67. And then with your money, you will be suffering again.
And I'm not too happy because of what I'm facing between me and these NIN people. Since this making me almost 6 months, I'm suffering here. Every day I will be coming, they will be turning me up and down. Go here, go there. Right now I'm from High Court, Metama. Reaching here, they still refer me to another place, so I'm getting tired.
Although it's been 5 years since the mandatory NIN SIM linkage scheme took off as one of the tools for fighting insecurity, one of the questions that remain in the minds of many Nigerians is whether the government is really leveraging the scheme to end the continuous kidnappings and possible killings of its citizens.
Well, for me, the end justified the means. The fact that since after these things were done, we're still having, the same level of criminal activities, or if not more, and nobody has been able to be tracked down, following some of the things that we're discussing right now. So I can say that they're not leveraging on it. Maybe they're still working on it because it was at the latter part of the last administration that it was introduced. Maybe they are not at the point where they can be utilizing all these things. But I know that these are tools that other countries are using and leveraging on to track down criminals. And that's why criminals in those countries avoid communicating electronically or digitally, because they know that they can be tracked. So I don't know why we are not leveraging on it.
As Nigerians continue to decry the cumbersome procedure outlined by the National Identity Management Commission for enrolling NIN, they are however calling on NIMC to make the process seamless to enable Nigerians enroll before the deadline. Abdurrahman Umar, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Central Bank of Nigeria has slammed restrictions on cryptocurrency transactions in Nigeria. The Apex Bank disclosed this in recent guidelines on its website for operating cryptocurrency accounts known as virtual asset service providers. According to the guidelines, cryptocurrency accounts shall be used for only virtual and digital assets and not for any other purpose. Accordingly, the CBN barred cash withdrawals from cryptocurrency and noted that no third-party checks should be cleared. The The developments come after the CBN lifted the ban on cryptocurrency in December 2023. To this end, Nigeria has joined the rest of African countries like South Africa, Botswana, and others to regulate the cryptocurrency market amid its susceptibility to fraud. Moving away from Nigeria now, a December 29 missile strike killed 32 people in Kyiv, authorities said Thursday, raising the toll of the deadliest attack on the Ukrainian capital since the war began. Russia has in recent days intensified aerial attacks against Ukraine, which says it has enough ammunition to withstand a few powerful assaults, but would soon need more aid. The head of the Kyiv military administration, Sergei Popko, said 30 people were wounded. All the 32 killed were in a warehouse, Ukrainian authorities said. Russia says it only targets military infrastructure. Russia had on that day launched 158 missiles and drones over Ukraine, the Air Force said, in an attempt to overwhelm air defenses. The attack killed at least 55 people and wounded 170. And that brings us to the end of the news update at this hour. But remember, you can always follow us across all of our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentary. I'm Aisha Salihu. Thanks so much for your time.